Welcome to room 313, a place you should never trust, yet you'll hear. Every story you hear tonight may be real, or maybe not. If you dare, comment what you believe, and the truth will find you. 1. The shadow in the basement. They say basements are just storage places. But for one family, it became a nightmare. A young couple in Ohio had just moved into their new home. Everything was perfect until they started hearing footsteps under the floorboards late at night. The problem? Their basement had no entrance from outside. One evening, the husband decided to check. He took a flashlight and carefully went downstairs. The moment he reached the last step, he saw a tall shadow figure standing at the far end of the basement. At first, he thought it was his own shadow, but when he moved, it didn't. The shadow started walking toward him. His wife, waiting upstairs, heard him scream. When she rushed down, he was gone. Only the flashlight was lying on the floor, still turned on. To this day, the man has never been found. Neighbors still claim that at night, if you listen closely, you can hear someone crying from the basement of that house, a place no one dares to enter. 2. The haunted doll returns. A collector in New Orleans had a strange obsession: dolls. Among his collection was one doll he claimed to have found in an abandoned asylum. The doll was old, cracked, and stitched together like someone tried to fix it, but it gave off a strange presence. Every night, he would place the doll in a glass case, but in the morning, it would be found somewhere else in the house. Sometimes on the sofa, sometimes sitting at the kitchen table. Once, even on his bed right next to him while he slept. He set up a camera, determined to catch the prankster because surely it was a trick. But when he watched the footage, he froze. At exactly 3:13 a.m., the doll's head slowly turned toward the camera. Then its arms started moving on their own. And finally, it walked straight out of the glass case. When the video leaked online, people thought it was fake. But days later, police found the collector dead in his living room. The doll, nowhere to be found. Some say it still travels from house to house, waiting for its next victim. 3. The mirror reflection. Mirrors are meant to show us ourselves. But what if your reflection isn't really you? In London, a teenager was live streaming late at night. Behind her was a large mirror. As she spoke to her followers, people in the comments started panicking. They said, "Look behind you. Look at the mirror." Confused, she glanced back. Everything looked normal, but when she turned again, her reflection didn't move at the same time. It smiled while she wasn't smiling at all. She froze in shock, whispering, "That's not me." Suddenly, the reflection slammed its hands against the glass from inside the mirror. Her stream cut out instantly. The next day, her room was found empty. Her phone was still alive, lying on the floor, showing only the mirror. And in the reflection, she was still standing there, smiling. 4. The hospital ghost. Hospitals are places of healing, but also of death. Many believe that restless spirits linger where they took their last breath. In Mexico City, a security guard was making his usual rounds in an abandoned hospital wing. He filmed everything on his phone, joking that he might see a ghost tonight. What he captured would terrify the world. As he walked through the dark hallway, a wheelchair suddenly rolled across the floor by itself. He nervously laughed until the wheelchair stopped and turned to face him. Seconds later, a figure in a white gown appeared at the end of the hallway, pale, thin, and motionless. "Señorita, are you okay?" he asked, but the figure didn't answer. Instead, it started gliding toward him without moving its feet. Panicked, he ran, dropping his phone. The video ends with the figure leaning into the camera. Before everything goes black, the guard quit the very next day. He refused to ever step foot in that hospital again. The last ride. Late night taxi drivers often tell creepy stories, but one driver in Chicago swears this one changed his life forever. It was 2:45 a.m. when he picked up a young woman wearing a long white dress. She asked to be taken to a remote address outside the city. Throughout the ride, she remained silent, staring out of the window. When they reached a destination, a dark cemetery, she whispered, "We're here." The driver turned to tell her the fare, but the seat was empty. Only the faint smell of roses remained. Shaken, he drove off immediately. Later, when he checked the address, he found something chilling. The name on the gravestone matched a description of the girl. She had died in a car crash 10 years ago on that very road. Since then, multiple drivers have reported the same passenger, always wearing white, always asking for the same ride. They call her the last passenger. This was room 313, where nightmares never end. If you dared to watch until the very end, hit that subscribe button and join our dark family, because here, you'll never watch alone.